Welcome to this free mini-series of classes, class number 10. This one's on meditation. Now, I'm sure you've heard of meditation, you're probably practicing it, but what exactly is meditation? So for many people, meditation is a time that they block out where they can focus specifically on getting into a certain frame of mind, and they'll have a certain set of rituals that they'll use that they call their meditation. And when we stop there and consider for a moment that what is the ultimate purpose of meditation? Why do people want to meditate? And when we consider that what we've learned in the other classes, that what we think causes our reality, so our spiritual reality, everything our thoughts, is what causes our physical reality to manifest. And we're not alone in doing that. We have connection with the universe. So as the universe understands what we feel, not what we consciously think, but what we feel, then the universe delivers things related to that so that we get that into our physical reality. Now, it's not just a order and then it gets delivered and we get home and there it is on the doorstep. Meditation, it works more like this. We have a certain feeling of what we want in life, caused by our observations and our thoughts. And now the universe starts to deliver on that. This is a constant flow. It's a constant change. There's no, we're at this point and now we're at that point. It's this constant flow. And so as the universe is trying to deliver, then we have to be able to see what's there. We have to be able to feel what's there. We have to be able to understand what's there in order to take the appropriate actions that we're going in the right direction to get what it is that we want. And that's the point of meditation, is if we're too stressed or if we're worried or anxious, if we're not in a meditative state, then how are we going to feel what the universe is trying to deliver? And so while the normal typical meditation would be practical for getting into a conscious state of being relaxed and at ease, is only the beginning point. What we want to do is train our subconscious that we no longer have to go from a conscious state of meditation, but that we're subconsciously always in a meditative state. So what that means is that we're always relaxed, we're always at peace. Now, that might seem like a real stretch for people because a lot of people spend their lives being totally stressed out, right from the time they wake up till they go to sleep and right through their sleep, even like they're troubled by life. Now, when we can start to retrain our subconscious autopilot, that we're always and continually in a state of relaxation, state of peace, then we've accomplished the first step in meditation. Because now, as we go through our day, then we're more open and more aware to what the universe is trying to communicate to us. And to give you an example of that, what you'll notice is when you're in a relaxed state, then you can be aware if you're trying to do something, for example, on your computer, and then something's not functioning, where normally it should just flow. You're familiar with the flow of things, and you're familiar with when things aren't going. Well, these are subtle hints from the universe that if something's not going and we're continually trying to force it, we can go through whole days like that where nothing's working. And then if we're not relaxed enough to be able to step back and say, hey, wait a minute, this isn't flowing, I should move on to something else. I should do something that's where things are flowing. What am I missing? And that's the whole point of being in a subconsciously produced state of meditation, as opposed to being in a conscious meditation, because when we're consciously meditating, then our focus is on our breathing, on being relaxed. It's not open to what the universe is bringing because we're blocking it by being focused consciously on what we're doing. And that's where meditation defeats itself, like when we do it as a rigid practice. So how do we get into a subconscious meditative state? And to be clear, what that means is that we're naturally in a meditative state. And so we're not putting a conscious effort into it anymore because we were there naturally, which means now that because we're naturally in the meditative state, we're open to what the universe has to deliver for us. And that comes through practice. And the more often that we're checking in with ourselves, are we relaxed? Then we'll see, okay, well, if we're not, why aren't we? And then we can go back to the other classes, for example, like the class 1, class 2, with life being a series of connected and related experiences. And then what is love? And as we start to master these, and as we start to bring them as an active part of our life, then we'll find more and more that we're in this natural meditative state, subconsciously. Now, the next part is that there's two different points here. One is there's various levels where we find ourselves. It can be anywhere from deeply depressed to highly ecstatic, and anywhere in between, like just living. And so the other part is how inspired are we about what we're doing? So there are two separate columns, if we can look at it that way. And in the first, we can discover a meditative state anywhere, no matter what our state of being is. So we can be, let's say we're depressed or anxious, but we're understanding the structure of meditation. And so we can say, okay, by going back to class 1, class 2, we know how to bring ourselves into a state of calm. So even though we've confined ourselves in a state of being anxious or depressed, then we can still bring ourselves back to a state of calm. And from that state of calm, now we can start to hear again, and observe what the universe is bringing. Because once we know how to bring ourselves to that state of calm, so through class 4, the natural thought process, we know how to start finding things that inspire us. And just that we know how to do that, and we know the universe is being guided by our feelings, and by being able to recognize, okay, we're in a depressive state at the moment, and we don't want to be there. And then we naturally bring ourselves to a relaxed state, because this is all fully within our control. It's a question of how do we view the world. Class number 2, what is love? Viewing everything as being perfect as it is. The moment we do that, then we go to complete relaxation. From that state of relaxation, the universe knows how we feel. And then as we start to focus on what it is that we do want in life. So then we get to this, so that from here is a good point to go to the second column. The second is how inspired are we? So again, both of these columns are directly related to the natural thought process, class number 4, right? And from the natural thought process, at the core of that is observation. Observation brings inspiration. Observation of negative brings negative inspiration. Observation of positive brings positive inspiration. And we can choose that. We can actively be aware of what we're observing, and we can actively be aware that what we're observing is one way or the other. And so as we start to observe more positive things, then we find more positive inspiration. And so even though we might be at a lower level of inspiration, we can use our meditative state to improve on that, because it's in the meditative state we're calm enough to understand what the universe is trying to guide us towards. And if we can feel through our gut instinct what the universe is guiding us to, now we've made huge steps forward. So if you review this, go back over this video, keep going back over it, and what you're going to get is that core of how the first 3 classes and then the 4th class, natural thought process, how they all tie together. How when we see the meditative state as being something that we've got to develop into our subconscious, that when the meditative state is only in the conscious and only in a certain blocked out period of time in our day, that we lose all the real value from meditation. Meditation is a wonderful thing, but it's because the meditative state is what brings us to the position where we can actually hear the universe. And so if we're, as I said earlier, if we are consciously working on that, great, but to the end that eventually it becomes the subconscious state. How does it become our subconscious state? So being relaxed and calm is through practice and awareness. How do we become aware? Is through the observation all the time. Every time we think about it during the day, am I relaxed? Am I calm? Can I take a few deep breaths? And so let's try an exercise here, and we'll gear this exercise towards the basics of, so somebody who's just starting to use meditation, and they're starting to use some of the life ingredients from all these classes. So where do we start? So as always, nice deep breath. Breathe in through your nose, breathe in through all your pores, and then exhale everything that's negative, everything that's done, everything that's used. See everything as being perfect as it is in this moment. There's nowhere else you have to be right now. There's nothing else you have to do. You're just enjoying a moment of learning something new. And so we let the breathing and the relaxation fade into the background. It remains, but it's part of our state of being. And now, while we're relaxed, now we can start to consider, if we don't know what we want from our life, then it's hard to get there. And so let's assume that we don't have a clear-cut idea of what's really important to us. So we're busy working, we're active in life, but that real fulfillment is missing, that real idea of what do I want to do with my life? What really matters? And I don't know. So now we can use the natural thought process in our meditative state of being relaxed. And just the fact that the signal we're sending out through our feelings is, I'd really like to know. I'd like to know what would be fulfilling for me in life. And so that allows the universe to start delivering things. We'll see things that guide us towards that, but we'll only recognize them if we're in the meditative state of being relaxed and we're breathing, but we're not consciously focused on that. Because we're just in this state of awareness, then we're open to what's happening around us, what's the universe delivering. And you can be guaranteed that of all the millions of things that the universe delivers to us, we don't see a fraction of them. But the more that we practice this, the easier it becomes. So as we keep breathing, as we keep bringing ourselves to that state of relaxation, and if you find yourself where you're not exactly relaxed, question, what's causing the discomfort, the unease? Are we in a hurry to go somewhere? Then we automatically destroy that everything is perfect as it is. Because as long as we can be, everything is perfect as it is, there's nothing wrong, everything's how it should be, then that automatic peace comes back to us. And the more we practice that, like any time during the day when you think about it, practice that. And that'll be the first big step towards getting meditation to be the useful tool that it is by bringing it into our subconscious. So I'm hoping you're getting good value from these videos. When you have questions, feel free to reach out to me, send me a note, send me an email, text. And for the meantime, just keep going through the different videos. Make sure that you click the link to follow so that you get notification of the new videos as they come out. And feel free to share them with your friends. Looking forward to meet you. Wish you all the best.